My name's Blake Schwank. I know some of you. I'm with Colorado Computer Support, and today we actually shut down our office, and so we moved home. All of our people are used to working remote to begin with, but we just ended up cleaning out the office. Everybody took home their laptops, their computers. Some of them took home their phones, and so we're really living what we're talking about today. Um, Around our office, like I mentioned, we use Zoom and Teams and Google Meets, on a daily basis to collaborate within the office, but also we have clients around the state, and we also have an employee that's down in San Antonio that we spend a lot of time talking to on video conferences. So feel free to jump in, unmute yourself, ask questions as we go through this. It's about half hour or so we'll be on here. If you have any questions besides video conferencing on how to manage people, across or that have gone home, feel free to stick on afterwards. Ask whatever questions. We can talk about file sharing or remote access, those kinds of things. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into it. I'm going to go share my PowerPoint here, and we'll talk about how you share things here in a little bit. But so this is really the agenda. What we're going to go through is how do we actually schedule a meeting and set up a Zoom account? How do you, and what are the plans and pricing? They do have one right now that's 40 minutes for free. I've heard some rumors that they may be opening that up for no cost, but keep your eye out for that. We're going to go through a little bit of troubleshooting. So once you're in, sometimes it's a challenge to figure out how to run the speakers, how to run your camera. I use 2 different cameras, and how do you select the right one of those? Talk a little bit about you can dial in from the phone instead of on video conference. Some people don't want to show their faces. And if you're running a meeting with your employees and somebody's dog's barking, how do we manage that? How do you mute them out? How do you share your screen? How do they share their screen? And then we'll talk a little bit about etiquette on video conferencing, and then what are the difference between the different plans, and then whatever questions you guys want to address for remote work, just let me know after that. So I'm going to get into my Chrome browser, and we're going to go take a look at how do we actually set up a meeting and an account. Sorry, trying to find the right window to share sometimes is a bit of a challenge. So one tip is to have as few windows as open as possible when you're doing a meeting. So Zoom is one platform, and the address is zoom.us to go sign up. Right when you get to their page, on the left-hand side, they have their plans and pricing, and you can go choose one of those to sign up for. The free meeting on the left, you can have a 40-minute meeting for up to 100 participants. So a lot of times this is great for most organizations. Don't have to spend anything, but it's worth the $15, I think, if you want to be able to record and you want to have meetings that last longer. And sometimes, some organizations will just leave the webinar open or the meeting open all day long. And so the one I use is the $14.99 plan. It gives me the best bang for the buck. But for most, if you're just 2 or 3 people, the free one works great. Once you sign up, they'll need your credit card and everything, or if you do the free one, you can go to your account, and the account's just like any other, in any other application. When you go down from your account, you have the personal meeting ID. That top address there, you could just start an instant meeting. You could copy that, click on it, open up a new meeting, email it out to someone if all you want to do is, hey, let's jump on the Zoom meeting right now. But the better way to do it is if you go to meetings on the left, you'll notice that I've got a set of meetings set up here. So I'm doing the video conferencing class. It's a recurring meeting. You see it's green over on the left, and I can join it or I can end the meeting. The second one down for tomorrow is our company check-in. We're meeting every morning now at 8:30 just to get all 20 people up on the TVs, see what they're doing, see if they're doing all right, get any concerns, and then moving about our day. But to set up a meeting, you just click on schedule a new meeting, and let's say all of your staff are home this week, and you want to check in with them daily. You do a daily staff check-in. You don't need a description. You just pick a time, and it's going to start on Thursday at 5 p.m. We're going to do it for an hour, but then you can choose a recurring meeting. So it automatically sets it every day at a certain time. And then you can remove the password. I've got a problem. My headset is dying, so my battery's dying. I've been on it too long today. I'm gonna hang it up, or I'm gonna switch over to my computer speakers. So give me just a moment. One nice thing is you can easily change the microphone and speakers on during a call. Okay, so I just switched off of my headset. Can you guys, can somebody let me know if they can still hear me?
I got you.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Jeff. All right, so so I set it up to occur daily, once every day, and then just like setting a recurring Outlook meeting, you can choose to set it out for months ahead of time. Normally, I don't require a meeting password. It's just an extra hurdle people have to go through to get in. And then I turn on the video and participant for both host and participant. And then the audio, you generally want to let people use both selections. And then the one thing I always do is mute participants upon entry. That keeps one of your employees from coming in with the dog barking or something else in the background, interrupting your meeting. And then you just hit save on it. Once you hit save, then you halfway down here, so you can add it to your calendar by downloading one of the files here, but then your meeting ID is down below. So about halfway down my screen, invite attendees. If you choose copy the invitation, then you can take it, paste it into an Outlook calendar, email it to somebody, however you want to get it out to your staff. And then when you're ready to start the meeting, so now once we have the meetings, when it's time to start the meeting, if you look on my morning check-in over here, it says start. So as the host, I would log into this, click on start, and and then once your staff joins you, you have to be logged in for them to log in. Okay. Any questions on setting up a meeting? Okay. So now once we have the meeting going, I'm going to switch back over to my PowerPoint. So what happens a lot of times, especially as you get used to running a meeting, is a lot of times when people join the meeting, they end up, trying to get you to hear them. You can't hear them. They can't hear you. Most likely, it's the the wrong output selected, or I'm running off of a TV as my monitor. The TV has speakers, so sometimes the speaker might actually be playing on the monitor, which is muted out. So when you get in, if you look at the bottom of your Zoom window, if you click on your, right next to the microphone, there's an audio test. And if you select that audio test, so right where it says mute, if you test speaker and microphone, this is what you get. And it starts playing music to your speaker. Then you can adjust the, select which speaker you want until it's the right one. It does the same thing on the microphone. You speak into it, and then it'll play your sound back to you. And I was fighting with my headset, having moved it around today, and it was an invaluable tool just to go through and test it till it actually worked prior to getting into the meeting. You can select your different cameras. I have two different cameras. I've got a Logitech camera that sits on top of my monitor. It's got a better resolution, and I can actually aim it where I want to aim it. And it shoots me at a different angle that I like better than my laptop camera. But you can change between the two different cameras, and just down at the bottom of your window, if you can also black out your video, you can stop the video, or you can choose a different camera. If you get on a call and somebody's making a lot of noise, you can manage participants. So if I, at the bottom of my window, I have an icon that says manage participants. Once you do that, then right here you can see Curtis Hyde. I can just click on him and mute him out specifically. Or I can also, if I choose more, I can get rid of his video. So if something's going on behind him I don't want everybody to see, I can black it out. At the bottom of manage participants, you can also mute all, and you can also kill everybody's camera if you want. If you want to change, we already talked about changing, but any of the devices you can change live while you're doing it. I mean, we saw that with my headset dying. Sharing screens. So if you have a presentation you want to share personally, or a document, you can take that. If you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a share my screen icon. You select that, and any of you could participate also. If you wanted to share a document, you could select that, and it would ask me if I wanted to allow you to share. And then you can select an entire monitor. So you notice I have screen 1, screen 2. Screen 2 is my external monitor. Screen 1 is my laptop monitor, and then it shows the entire screen. That's great in some cases, but you want to be very careful, because you may be talking to your employees, have your email open, but you just want to show a Word document, and all of a sudden they see all of your email, which may or may not be something you want them to see. But the way I normally do it, and the way I did it now sharing the PowerPoint, is I just selected the one, so if you look in the middle, there's something called Video Conferencing 101. I selected that and just going through that presentation. When I'm done, there's an icon. You go back to your screen where the Zoom icon is, and you can select to stop sharing. So any questions on the functionality, sharing, anything with Zoom? Okay, everybody's quiet. So, and then going to run through a little bit of etiquette, and some of it seems common sense, but I would, we share it with our employees, because the reason that there's rules and why this has been written down is because people mess it up. The first thing I do whenever I'm on a call is I mute it out, and that's why starting the meeting muted is a great idea. What happens is, somebody will be eating a bag of chips or something else and disturb everybody and mess up your meeting. One thing that we coach our people on is when they need to step away, we just want them to say, "Excuse me, I'll be right back." What happens is when you're talking to a client or somebody that just instead of just a coworker, the UPS guy will come by, or they'll need to go talk to a contractor or something, and they'll step away, and you can hear the conversation, but it also makes people feel less important that are on the call with them. So what we tell them is just, I'll be right back, and let people assume that you went to the bathroom or something, and use the call out while you're away. Have your employees make sure the technology works before the meeting. It's frustrating when you get on a call where people spend 10 minutes trying to get their microphone working. So we always tell people to, and I always try to make sure I do, of actually make sure that the speaker and mic works well before getting started. Use the right technology to fully engage. We expect when we have meetings, I want my team on cameras, just because there's a lot to be gained by eyeballing each other when you're trying to collaborate. Having the right microphone so that it's not a bad echo, and the right camera. There's a lot of really good technology to help do this. Within the program, there's also chatting and polling and recording that you can use. So get into it and experiment a little bit. The right hardware. If someone's trying to do this from a junky computer, it's not going to work well. We have our employees, when they show up, when they're working from home for the next couple weeks, is actually show up in our company gear or in nice clothes, not t-shirts and stuff. And that is one of the key things to feeling like you're showing up for work, is your team gets up, gets coffee, and then at 8:30 or 8 o'clock, whenever you show up, actually sits down in front of the computer. They actually have to consciously think about they're going to work, and then they sit down and do it. And our team usually wears Colorado Computer Support clothing while they're doing it. Frame the camera correctly. Sometimes people will show it at a bad window or something, and there'll be brightness, or you'll just be looking at their nose. And then try to look into the camera and pay attention. That sometimes people get distracted and start looking at other things, looking at email, and that's one of the drawbacks. So it's also why I like having a camera on people, so we can see if they're fully engaged. So, and then just real quick before we, if you want to talk about other things. So we're using Zoom right now. Zoom is a platform agnostic platform, but you sign up for it, you pay $14 a month, or you get it for free. Doesn't matter if you're using Google Apps or Office 365. Within G Suite and Teams is Office 365. Both of those you can share with others. And so a Google user can log into a Teams meeting, but each of those come with a specific plan. So you have to be a G Suite user to have Google Meets. And then on Teams, there's a couple of the Microsoft Office 365 platforms that include Teams, and others do not. So you just need to make sure that, like, the $5 one and the $12 one include it, but the $8 one does not include it. I'm kind of partial to Zoom because I can show, when I have a meeting with 20 people, I can have 20 people on the screen. Unfortunately, with Teams only allows you to see 4 people at a time, and it rotates around depending on who's speaking. So that's the basics. That's if so, do you guys have any questions? Anything else you would like to talk about with trying to work from home during this? Anything? Any changes?
Blake, any thoughts on GoTo?
On GoToMeeting? Yeah, GoToMeeting or go to my PC? I'm sorry, Jeff. You cut off a little bit early.
You have any opinion on GoToMeeting?
No, it's another good one. I never use it, and so it's whereas I use all the other 3 quite frequently. It's a good one, and so I think it would be based on price and match up what your requirements are compared to what Zoom provides. I appreciate your time. Was it useful? Anybody raised their hand? You can raise your hand also down at the bottom. But Oh, oh, Tracy, actually, that's a great question. So someone asked a recommendation on cameras and microphones. I have there's a lot of laptops and desktops don't have cameras. What I use is a Logitech, let me tell you the model, a C270. So it's a Logitech C270. I think on Amazon it was $50 or something. Um, and it has a microphone built into it. Yeah, they're $40, $40 at Amazon or so. So, really good question. And I should add that to my presentation. So, okay, guys. Well, I appreciate you joining me. If you have any other questions, you can call the office or reach out to me. I think you guys got my email in the email that went out, but it's bschwank, BSCHWANK at coloradosupport.com. And feel free to reach out to me or call our main office and we can help you out. So hope everybody stays healthy and have a great day.